When you start this off, trying to get yourself a little bit of a center line, you can use a straight edge if necessary, but just kind of line it up. Like so. Find that bottom elliptical shape, sketching it out, trying to project it straight up. It's tapering down, a little bit of the perspective happening there. And you'll notice it has a rounded off edge to it. So there's the labeling for it. Just kind of spreading that particular section down. Finding the center, if you visually place it in there, and again finding these fittings that go up into the top of it. Building that cylinder of it. A little closer view of it. Nice thing about the preview. And again, it's got a couple of sections as you extend the drawing for the type of the tubing there. It'll make it just a little bit easier to illustrate and construct it up pretty quickly. And there's the fitting for it. When it turns itself, you can put a circle in there. It kind of helps with the curvature of it. I'm going to go way to the edge of the page here just to keep it together. And again, just kind of find the elliptical shapes. Building that section. And this turning knob on the one side is perpendicular to this piece, so that's built off of this square shape. And there's going to be the elliptical section in there. So once you find that elliptical piece, it's 90 degrees. Wrapping itself around there. And then it has the little star shape. Helps that come across. Okay. And again, once you get it listed in there, just go ahead and heavy up the lines to start placing it in there just right. Try to put it sideways this time. Let's see. That'll work. So it's just a matter of committing to this part. Coming down this far. Just pushing those elliptical shapes, so it's no corners to it. This is for all the labeling that's on there. And the roundness of this top piece. Each one of these just a little bit slightly different. So you kind of sketch it out. You can see the reflections helping along those lines. Go ahead and give a straight line for this one. Yeah. If you gotta go somewhere. Oh, you gotta go somewhere? I have them all marked. I'll tell you in a minute. Give me a second. Here, man. Here, man.
110. Why?
All right. So give this, like I said, this comes out with all the outline for it. which will eventually take out. And there you have it. So you kind of have the construction line placed in there, and then it's just a matter of trying to start the shading of this in lickety-split time. So I'm not really worried about the label yet, just want to get the shading going. And block it in. The blue canister up at the top. Can always shade and put in some of the highlights right after. And things that are dark, just go ahead and shade right over everything. Come back to it. And these parts, all the fittings have the reflections. So I'm just indicating those with some, almost like a gradient, cutting right across. And this part that fills this section is just showing the metallic piece with this posterized impression right here. And that's basically what you're coming up with. If you take a look at the lettering, anything that can be added on pretty quickly. But with the shading of this dial, for example, just use the straight edge, push it right up against it. Pushing it that way. Look for the dark values in there. 7 or 8 times ticking. Builds that part out here. Just do a couple things with the lettering. It's going to be a little tricky because it's not a curve. I don't have a curve to work with. But there's the baseline for it. And the height line for the type. And the O is kind of in the middle for benzomatic. And just use for each letter, just using the straight edge. Benzomatic. And for the propane, same idea, only this is going to be in reverse. So just give yourself a baseline and a height line. And break it off into squares. So there's P, R, O, P, and E. And just take out the letter. There it is. Shade right around it. Coming over here, it's got a little bit of an angle for their graphic. So the hardest part really is trying to put some of the lettering into this. And as you come down a little further, a little warning depending on which direction you're working this. And here's the net weight, so you can Greek in some of it. Break it up there. Break it up on this side. Okay.